The stag did not know. It stood on the ridge against the gray sky of the Highlands. Arthur Hastings watched it through the scope. The wind was cold. He felt it on his face. He drew a slow breath. He let half of it out. The rifle cracked. The stag fell. A good shot. He rose from the heather. His knees ached. At 60-5, the body keeps a tally. 3 decades in the service. From the Berlin Wall to the dust of Baghdad. The SAS had taken its payment in cartilage and peace of mind. He dressed the stag on the hillside. The work was clean and quick. Old skills. The walk back to his stone croft took an hour. A haunch of venison heavy on his shoulder. His home was solid.
Jack, I'm listening.
Built for weather and for clear lines of sight. An old habit. Inside, the fire was low. Books on a shelf. A worn leather chair. He cleaned the rifle. It was a ritual. As he finished, he heard the rattle of the Royal Mail van on the gravel track. A rare sound. His hand went to the SIG Sarpy 226 tucked under the workbench. He met the postwoman on the porch. Storm's coming in from the North Sea, she said. A bad one, they say. He'll keep the fire lit, Arthur said. She handed him the small bundle. Bills. A catalog for fishing tackle, and a plain white envelope. No return address. His name on the dress typed. No postmark. And mine is delivered to the post office in Glenfarrow. Inside, 1 sheet of paper. Grey Bear has awakened. Berlin. The words were a shock of cold water.
Eleanor Thorne.
I code buried for 30 years. 3 men knew it. One of them was dead.
Understood.
Or so he had been told. He went to the stone fireplace. He lifted the old cavalry saber from its hooks. A panel in the stone swung open. Inside the safe was a passport with a name that was not his. 10,000 pounds in mixed currency. And a satellite phone. He powered the phone. He dialed a number from memory.
Take it.
Antiquarian books. A woman's voice said. In looking for a first edition of Grey Mountains, Arthur said. By Edward Berlin. A pause. Then a man's voice.
Roger that.
Rough. This line is supposed to be dead. The voice said.
We need
Hello,
to move
Jack.
faster.
Arthur said. Heart. I heard you'd gone to ground for good. Who's using old codes? Not me. Jack Davies said. But I've been hearing things. Old ghosts rattling their chains. Watch your back. The line went dead. Arthur stood in the quiet room. He took a waterproof case from under the floorboards. It held a Lady 5 rifle, 5 magazines, and a Fairburn Minus, Sykes fighting knife. He had hoped the day would not come. The first flakes of snow began to fall. The pub in Glenfarrow was warm. A few distillery workers and gamekeepers were at the bar. Frank Miller nodded and poured a single malt. Nasty night, Art. It is. Arthur took the whiskey to a corner table. Back to the wall. A view off the door. The door opened. A woman came in. She was not a local. She moved with a quiet purpose that filled the room. Her dark hair was tied back. A jagged scar ran from her temple down her cheek. A combat scar. She ordered a whiskey and took it to a table. Her eyes found Arthur's. She held his gaze for a moment too long. He watched her in the mirror behind the bar. One of the distillery workers, drunk and brave, went to her table. That's a nasty scar, he said. Yes, she said, not looking up. His accident. The man mumbled something and retreated. Arthur finished his drink and stood. As he passed her table, she spoke. Bears get restless when winter lasts too long. He stopped. Outside, she said. 5 minutes. He waited in the dark beside his Land Rover. The snow was thicker now. She came out of the pub, scanning the car park. Mr. Hastings, she said. Who are you? Eleanor Thorne. The name hit him. Any relation to Michael Thorne? My father. Michael Thorne had been his closest friend in the regiment. His death in Afghanistan was one of the reasons Arthur had left it all behind. I went to his funeral. You went to a funeral, she corrected. The coffin was closed. She handed him a photograph. A research facility in a snowy mountain range. A group of men stood outside. One man in the center was older. Thought it was him.
Did you get Michael?
Unmistakably Michael Thorne.
No.
Ex-SAS Operative, she said. Worked for Defense Intelligence.
This is
I
just
found
the
this
beginning.
picture in a classified file.
This is just
When
the
I
beginning.
started asking questions, my life fell apart. They tried to kill me. Headlights swept the
chill
car
of that
park.
Berlin winter.
A black Range Rover pulled in, blocking the exit.
Never
The
really
men in
left me.
tactical gear got out. My truck, Arthur said. Now, they were inside as the men started towards them. Arthur started
Copy
the
that.
engine and drove toward the narrow service lane behind the pub. He saw the men running back to their vehicle in the mirror. "Are you armed?" he asked. "Always," she said. She unzipped a long case. It held a compact, tactical crossbow. The Range Rover followed, gaining on the main road. "There's a turn minus off ahead," he said. A forestry track. Eleanor wound down her window and braced the crossbow against the frame. The Range Rover closed in. Its headlights filled the cab. The crossbow made a quiet thump. A second later, the Range Rover's front tire exploded. The vehicle swerved violently and rolled into a ditch.
Copy that.
"What was that?" Arthur asked as he took the turn minus off. "Thermite charge," she replied calmly, reloading. "A little something I designed." They reached his croft. The perimeter alarms he had set were silent. They had not been followed. Inside, Eleanor looked around. "Good setup," she said. "Clear fields of fire."
Eleanor.
"What is Grey Bear?"
Listen.
Arthur asked. "A Bioweapon," she said. "Soviet project we thought you and my father shut down in '89. They were trying to create a virus that targeted specific genetic markers. We destroyed the research. The samples.
I have
You
already
destroyed a
set the
facility," she
charges.
corrected. The research continued with quiet backing from our side and the
future is
Russians.
now,
A black project called Winter Protocol. My father didn't die in Afghanistan. He was taken, exposed to an early version. He became their lead scientist and their primary test subject.
Eleanor, we
A
have to go
motion
now.
sensor blinked on a security panel. "Company," he said. He handed her a spare SIG and grabbed the Lady 5. "Back door. There's a hunting blind on the ridge." They slipped out as headlights appeared through the trees. From the blind, they watched for men in tactical gear breach the croft. They moved
Michael?
with professional discipline. They were not police. "They're searching for something," Arthur whispered. The
This
team
is only the
emerged
beginning.
empty-handed. Their leader spoke into a radio. They began to fan out.
Yep.
"Time to move," Arthur said. They retreated deeper into the forest, the falling snow covering their tracks. The drive to the Peak District took all night. They swapped the Land Rover for an nondescript Ford in a Glasgow car park. Eleanor slept. Arthur drove. He watched the road and thought of Michael Thorne. Jack Davies' safe house was a renovated farmhouse, isolated and defensible. He met them at the door. "You two look like hell," he said. "It's been a long night,"
This is off the books,
Arthur said. Inside,
there's no
Jack
way back.
poured 3 whiskeys. "Winter Protocol," he said, getting straight to it. "I helped create the framework for it
Just a
after the
small
Berlin
window.
Wall came down. We thought we could control it. They programmed to create enhanced operators. Stronger, faster. Michael Thorne was the key. He was the first successful subject." "Ex-SAS prisoner," Eleanor said. "Of a sort." Jack agreed. He started fighting back, sabotaging the research. He tried to warn us. "That's why you got the message, Art." They needed him contained, but they also needed his daughter. "They reactivated your security clearance, Eleanor. His research is locked behind a genetic key. Only you can open it. So, they lured me in to use me," she said. "And when you got too close,
This way.
they tried to eliminate you," Jack finished. "The facility is in a remote valley in Wales. A fortress,
The door is
run
open.
by a private contractor. Front for a joint TEM.
Oh.
I 6-SV operation. We're going in," Arthur
Eleanor?
said. It was not a question. "It's suicide. We need to get my father out and destroy the research," Eleanor said.
Take them out,
Jack
Thorne.
looked from one to the other.
pleasure,
The
Arthur.
old SAS soldier and the brilliant, scarred daughter of his friend, he sighed.
We
"I
have
still
to
have some
destroy the
contacts,"
sample, Arthur.
I agree.
he said. "People who owe me favors. It won't be a sanctioned operation.
Excellent.
If you're caught, you're on your own. The Yowies were, Arthur said. The assault was simple, because it had to be. There were only 2 of them. Jack coordinated from a distance, feeding them intelligence. They went in at night, during a storm. Arthur provided overwatch with a sniper rifle from a ridge 800 yards away. He watched the patrol patterns. He saw the heat signatures of the guards. Eleanor moved through the dark. She used her crossbow to fire a bolt with a thin, strong line over the perimeter fence.
He's gone.
She climbed it like a ghost. Inside, she moved from shadow to shadow. Her target was the communications hub. Another bolt, this one with an electronic payload, slammed into the junction box. The facility's external sensors went blind for 3 minutes. It was enough time for Arthur to breach the fence and join her. They entered through a ventilation shaft Michael Thorne had designed 30 years before. A back door he had built into his own prison. Inside, the facility was sterile and white. Alarms began to sound. Their intrusion had been detected. AGS in the primary lab, Jack's voice crackled in their earpieces. Sub-minus level 3, but they're moving him. They fought their way down. The guards were good, X- special forces, but they were soldiers. Arthur and Eleanor were something else. They moved with a brutal efficiency born of desperation. They found the lab.
Is where we keep the real
Michael
resources.
Thorne was there, flanked by 2 enhanced guards. He saw Eleanor, and for a second, his face broke. "Get out," he mouthed. The guards moved. They were unnaturally fast. Arthur engaged one. Eleanor fired her crossbow. The bolt struck the second guard in the chest. It was not a killing shot. The bolt had shattered, releasing a concentrated neurotoxin. The guard convulsed and fell. Arthur downed his opponent. He looked at his old friend. "Michael, the charges are set," Michael said, his voice urgent. "The entire facility. I've been waiting." He pointed to a containment unit. "That's the primary sample. It has to be destroyed." He triggered a silent alarm. A timer appeared on a wall screen. 15 minutes. "Go," Michael said.
No, this can't
"You'll hold
be
them
happening.
off." "We're not leaving you," Eleanor
This
said.
solitude,
A figure
I've lost
appeared in
it
the
forever.
doorway. An older man with cold eyes. Sir Geoffrey Finch, the director. "You're too late," Finch said. He held up a small device. Protocol activated. His sequence of tones echoed through the facility. Michael cried out and clutched his head. The programming was taking hold. "Run!" he gasped. "Hannah, run!" Arthur grabbed Eleanor. He pulled her toward the emergency exit. She fought him. "My father. HGS gone," Arthur said, his voice hard. An explosion shook the floor. Michael's charges were going off. The facility was coming down around them. Arthur dragged Eleanor through the collapsing corridors. They made it to the surface as
Winter
fire and
protocol
smoke
lives.
poured from the hidden entrance.
Proceed to phase
They stood
2.
in the rain on the Welch hillside and watched the mountain burn. Jack was waiting for them at the extraction point. "Did you get him?"
The war
he asked. Eleanor
was
shook her
never
head.
over.
Arthur put a hand on her shoulder. Jack looked at the fire. "The program is finished." "No," Eleanor
there,
said,
not
her
finished.
voice quiet but hard as steel. "They have my father. It's just beginning." Arthur looked at her. He saw the same fire he had seen in her father's eyes in Berlin all those years ago. The world was quiet, except for the rain and the fire. He knew his time in the Highlands was over.
To be continued.